Already know I need the nails and then the hair and then the dinner and the dates and the breakfasts and the fucking, like everything Chris was talking about up there, it's definitely gonna be that. Like, oh well, we'll just get it for the house. Like fucking yo, okay, the house. Like that was a funny joke he said. Now that I'm remembering his shit, oh, the house. Oh, that shit was funny as fuck because it's like fuck the house. How about that? Fuck the house. Why? It's not for the house. It's like for you.
Mad Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now. While the angels fly over my head.
We are back with another episode of the God's Hour podcast. Your boy Big Serpavelli back in the place to be. La Merca Superior Palace 81 Studios. We are live in effect, live and direct. It's your boy, Mr. Nine Times. Yeah, man, today is March 7th, which means today's mathematics is God. And what was it? The last one was anything and everything can be achieved through God. But I would just say for today's mathematics, God is everywhere and everything at the same time. So a classic phrase I would hear all the time when I was little was like, God is watching you, whether that be for good or for bad. That's like saying everyone deserves everything they get. It's like a double connotation, meaning like if you're cool, if you're popping like that, you'll get some popping shit. But if you're a fuck levi, then you're just gonna get some fuck levi shit handed right back on your bitch ass. So yeah, God is all around. So just never forget that God is always with you, and God is always going to give you the strength to do what is necessary in your day-to-day tasks. And like I always say, God gives his strongest test to he gives his hardest test to his strongest soldiers. So never forget that, man. And also too, it is my dad's birthday. He's on the chair over here with the hat I bought him, and he's on his phone. So that is awesome. Whenever he wants to come on the podcast and say a few words, he can do that. But we got Presley in the cup right now. And last night, thumbs up from Pops. So last night, I saw Chris D'Elia at the Ontario Improv. He hadn't been at the Improv, and I don't even know I should have figured out how to sit comfortably because this fucking couch, we got to throw this couch away already and get new ones. This is ridiculous. The podcast, could we write that off for a new couch on the program? Is there some sort of tax break we can get from doing the show and couches? I don't know. But when we saw Chris D'Elia yesterday, it was like really interesting because he hadn't been at the Ontario Improv in a long time. And his comedy isn't necessarily the comedy that I watch frequently. From the bits I have seen and just his podcast in general, I really do like his stuff. It's more of imagery and like storytelling, not too many. I would say he's not like a technical joke writer, if anyone can understand that. It's his power, I feel like, in his stand-up is in a lot of his experience and just storytelling and imagery. I feel like that's me. I feel like my jokes, I don't even have jokes or nothing. I don't even think I'm really funny like that, where you could just kind of take, I mean, I guess I could kind of take a story and put sazon on it, and I guess that's what he does to some extent. But I don't, like, a lot of people enjoy the podcast, and I don't even, at first I didn't even mean for it to be funny, I guess. I think I just wanted to be entertaining in some sort of manner. But before we dive into anything, quick drip check. I got some charcoal gray and red New Balance 574s. navy Imperial basketball shorts that I hate these shorts. I need some other fucking shorts because these shits are too short. And then gray tank and a red LA Dodgers fitted. With these shoes though, these are the shoes that I had at oh no, I wasn't. Did I get these? I don't even think I was at my grandma's house, living with my grandma at the time. I think I got these when I moved over here, and then I yacked all over them. So anytime I wear these or see these, it just reminds me of when like I fucking Ralphed all over these shits, and you could see like the fucking vomit in all the laces and everything. So I think I'll probably just give these away after I clean them, because these are fucking my toes up. This is when I was like an 11 and a half. I only have a few 11 and a half shoes. And then I bought the Wu-Tang Dunks in 11 and a half. I'm not even that size. I'm a fucking 12. So very, very disappointing that, you know, you do find out when you waste your money. Oh, your money's going to tell you what you need to be spending your money on. Because as soon as you start wasting shit, oh man, it's like your money's like, nice try, motherfucker. Like what you really thought you needed, you really didn't need and all that. And I'm already starting to get hot with this fucking hat on. I was like, you know what? I'll wear a hat. You know, I know that's the thing now. I don't really do my hair and shit. There's some episodes, especially when in the heat wave era and that summer was hot. What was it, like 23 or some shit like that? I wasn't even wearing shirts. That was when it was just like in the frame, like above the fucking shoulders to the top of the head frame. Pause. So, yeah, this shit always reminds me of when I would get drunk and shit, and I really feel like taking these off because these are squeezing the shit out of my toes right now. These remind me of the Timberlands. I had some 10 and a half Timberland boots, which is an 11 at most, 11 and a quarter at most. And I worked in them for months and they fucked my feet up like nobody's fucking business. To the point where when I got my new Timberlands, I was like, oh shit, these are what comfortable boots feel like? Man, I think I just stretched the other Timberlands out, but yeah, these are just giving me major flashbacks. So I have a bunch of shoes in 11 and a half that I think I'm probably just going to give away. I don't know. Going back to the Ontario Improv, there was this dude named Trenton, young 20-year-old kid. He went up there, real millennial. And I get what they say when I would watch like Joe Rogan podcasts and shit, where they would say, you're 20, you're not really supposed to be doing comedy because you haven't lived. Like some of the best comics, and thinking about that now, are older, like 40. Like that's probably the youngest, unless they do some sort of like, what do they call that? With impressions, right? What they do with their face, and like when they impersonate or like improv. If it's like strictly experience and storytelling, I feel like, yeah, like maybe 20-year-olds or maybe under 30, they shouldn't really be talking about comedy. But I feel like either way, like I have like an interesting perspective on life, and also too, like younger comedians like Ralph Barbosa, rest in peace Ken Flores, like the younger guys, they have like, okay, so Ralph Barbosa is a witty comic. Ken Flores is, I'll say, more like crass. So there's different ways you could get around that, but with this kid, it just kind of seemed like he squeezed water out of rocks, and that he was talking about the Drake versus Kendrick shit, which was like kind of like a big theme of the night because they kept playing, for whatever reason, they kept playing They Not Like Us. I don't know if that was on purpose, but this kid Trent was talking about how he's one of these like black guys that doesn't seem like they went through shit, and like he was like very well off. And like the joke of the night that I remember was, he said he got pulled over by the cops, and he was like, oh yeah, it's because I'm black. And the guy was like, no dude, it's because you're bumping Drake loud as fuck. Like, are you a OV ho? So that was like probably his best joke, you know. But I think it's really interesting to see the new and up and coming talent to go up there, because like you never know, you really never know if the kid is gonna be somebody. You know what I mean, buddy? Do you have anything to say as far as like the podcast goes? Really? Holy fuck! Why'd you do that? Yeah, I agree with you, buddy. That you hit on some very good points. You know what I mean, buddy? I appreciate your honesty. Can you please like put a button on it and just like real quick, just to tell them real quick something else? Okay, he's done. All right. Stay here with me. Stay here. Stay with your father. The second comedian to go up on stage was named Denny Love. He was a little better, but like you could tell a comedian that's only been doing this a year or two, like the kid who went up there. Then this guy who probably been doing comedy, let's just say 5 years. But his was he was very good at improv. He was able to like kind of leave his material and go to the crowd. He was talking like he was just going to the crowd. Like there was like some older black guy that he was like kind of addressing in his bits. And I don't remember if there was like a joke of the set for me for him. It was just more so like he had a good set overall where he was just able to go to different things. I like that he was like, man, I'm fucking tired of hearing that Kendrick song. I thought that was really funny. He had a really good bit about how just he's sick of like the Kendrick Lamar song and everybody is playing like They Not Like Us. Very interesting, very funny. And I can't really remember like a joke that I really liked from him. He just had a really tight set. But what I did notice though is he didn't end with like a haymaker or like a good punch. It seemed like at the end of his set, and he didn't even get everybody ready for Chris D'Elia. It was like he just told a bunch of like jokes, and then he was like, all right, are you ready for your next comedian? It's Chris D'Elia. You know what I mean? It was like, oh shit, like we're doing this out of nowhere. We're finally getting Chris. I would have loved for him to end with a really good joke, like something really funny, a haymaker, and then, you know, Ontario, you ready for your headline? Are you ready for Chris D'Elia? Make some noise. All right, y'all, Chris D'Elia. You know what I mean? Like make it a grand thing. But the way he introduced Chris was like out of nowhere. So that was kind of like, oh, what the fuck? That's just me nitpicking, but I love comedy, so that's just what I would have liked to see. When Chris went up there, he did talk about the fucking They Not Like Us. It seemed like they were like, you know, fuck having a rotation of songs. We only got one song on the playlist. Like if they ran out of space, they're like, oh, all we got is like some rock and indie shit. Like what do y'all want? Or are we all gonna agree on the Kendrick? Okay, well that's the song everyone can identify with. And I am kind of sick of that song too. What's the other one? Looking for the broccoli. Aki. Like there's just a bunch of the hits that made GNX on Kendrick's album. They are kind of played out. I just wish that people would give other artists a chance. And there are some obviously crazy, scary, spooky, like you got Lefty Gunplay and you got the other raza that's on the album. But it's mostly just, I think if the album had nothing to do with Drake, it wouldn't be as big. I feel like if if Kendrick dropped it out of nowhere, it would have been like a banger, like the banging singles. But since that album is shitting on one of the biggest rappers to come out, I think it just makes it even more like, yeah, it's less divisive. I think it's more divisive and everywhere but the West Coast, specifically Southern California, because we've been Drake fans. We've been loving Kendrick. Why do I keep saying Drake? I'm on the Drake shit too. Kendrick we're avid fans of Kendrick. So for us to not love Kendrick's music, it would be weird, but he's done like such a great job of holding the coast down throughout the years. When did he come out? Like let's give him 2011, cuz I remember like what was it? What was I like in fucking Was I like in fucking middle school when his shit was popping? I think so. It was no, later than that. Later than that and shit. I don't know. But I do remember it was like Hands on the Wheel, Bass, ASAP Rocky, that TDE, ASAP, Odd Future thing was like all floating around 2011 at the same time. Really didn't start popping off till 2012. So let's just give him 2012. Dog, that's 13 years of Kendrick holding the coast down. And Drake kind of predated Kendrick shit, but I think at this point we're just sick of Drake and we want to see him knock the fuck off. And we always root for the underdog, just as people who want to see like a success story, because we knew it's like Drake has the power and the influence to get Kendrick the fuck out of here. And for once in Drake's career, he beefed it with somebody that didn't let shit slide. He finally took his first big L. His first, shout out to Big L. Rest in peace. He took his first little L against Pusha, but I don't think that was enough that had impact on his career, but it didn't have the impact that this shit had. Like, nobody was playing the story of Adidon anywhere. You take a 5-minute walk anywhere in Los Angeles County, you're bound to fucking hear the They Not Like Us or Family Matters or whatever the fuck. Those are hit records that are going at one of the biggest pop stars in the industry. Chris D'Elia goes on stage, and to me, he murdered it. But this is the thing. I don't know if this is Ontario or this is just drunk people, but the amount of hecklers in the audience was ridiculous. I feel like when I went and saw Tony Hinchcliffe, he was ruthless and just like, either from what I remember, it was only 1 or 2 hecklers and Tony like just shut him down or something. But you got to do that, because if you let him rock and you kind of give the crowd permission to heckle and like, oh, it's okay, like you can heckle and shit, it's not going to go over well. Because literally, this is the second time in a row where I feel like the hecklers like took it way too far. There were these drunk dudes, and you could tell it was like 3 couples, and they were fucked up. They brought like those ice buckets of beers and shit, and you could tell like they was probably fucking, singing the Els Cantantes and shit in the car before they fucking came into the venue. So they're already on that. Like, you could tell these fools were fucked up. And this motherfucker kept saying shit, wait, what? And then all this shit. And people, like, this lady yelled at Chris to say the N-word. I'm like, literally, what is going on right now? It got to the point where I want to be like, yo, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I don't want, like, you're ruining it, bro. Like, for the people, they're not even security. They're the improv door people or whatever that just, they're there to be, hey man, no. Like, no, bro, like, after you heckle one time, they heckle, in my opinion, you heckle one time, stop yelling shit out. Like, you will be kicked out. You will no longer be able to fucking come back. After that, you're gone. You're leaving. There's no reason for you to fuck up not only the comedian set, but the audience that comes to pay to see a comedian, and you're ruining it for them because all right, so if you don't know, a comedian, as soon as they're on a roll, they're going with their jokes, they got all this shit going on in their mind, and then you want to fuck that up, don't do that shit, bro. That shit's lame. I don't know what it is with these fucking assholes, buddy, that can't hold their liquor. What's going on? So, Chris D'Elia, on behalf of the Old Town, I'm sorry. These people, I could tell you could tell who's super big fans of Chris from the VIP and how long they've been waiting there. First of all, that show did not sell out. There was probably 3/4 of the room that was full. The VIP that was there were probably not even a dozen people waiting for VIP before the doors open. And there was probably a good, 50, 60 people in the regular line by the time I went. The room got full pretty much right before they started the fucking show. So that just lets you know they weren't really most of them were there to see a comedy show and not specifically for Chris D'Elia. I'm not shitting on him because he hasn't been there in a long fucking time. So you could tell like Chris D'Elia is not a household name where he could just pop up in any club and he's going to sell out. Like this is something that was on the fly, and especially it's a Thursday night. You're going to get avid fans on Friday, Saturday, Sunday through Thursday. It could be a very hit or miss. And I know because I've only seen Thursday shows and weekend shows. When I saw Tony, I think it was a Saturday, right? So you're going to know what kind of crowd is there depending on what day, what kind of night, what's going on in the fucking world. Anyway, Chris went up there. He killed it. He was talking about his life. He looks like an old dad. And he was just talking about some fucking bench story about his wife. And just, this literally made me not want to get married at all and have kids. But it was just funny the way he pieced it up. Like, he was talking about his sons, and there's a funny ass, he had a story about he had moved into a new house and his wife bought some books. So one of the books was called Calvin, and that's his son's name. So his son got all excited, and the first line of the book was from an early age or whatever. It's like about a girl. It's like a girl, right? And it's like, from the early age, I always wanted to be a boy. And Chris was like, okay, fuck this book, or whatever he said. I'm fucking the Joker, but he was like, okay, like, why don't you go play outside? Daddy has to burn something. That shit was hilarious. Literally, that from the bench story to like a good half of this set, I was literally holding my fucking stomach, like in tears, laughing. And I could see like Chris was looking at me like every now and then, like just looking at me. Like he probably wanted to like, I was like the point of reference. Like, oh, okay, like if this fool's like laughing at my shit, like I'm doing really well. Cause he was doing really good. The whole laugh was the whole room was laughing, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like it was a little off with the hecklers. The hecklers made it fucking like not even enjoyable. If I was Chris, I'd be like, fuck everybody here. And like, I actually feel like I would have told somebody to get these motherfuckers out of the room, because if you can't let people enjoy their stand-up, I'm going way too much into this shit, but you could tell it affected him. It affected him to the point where it was just like, what was really dope about it, he was able to handle the hecklers, not really like be like a menace, like, oh, you think that's funny, or go fuck yourself, like go heel on them. It was more so like he was able to make fun of them, get them the fuck out of here, go back into his joke and keep it moving. That happened like a good 3 times, but I could tell like he kind of like, the first like 2 times he tried to just like, address it a little and then keep it going. But by the 3rd time, he like shut them all the fuck up. Like he did like an extra like 5 or 10 minutes just on the hecklers. And then he jumped back into a set. And then him too, it was like, he didn't end with a haymaker either. It was just kind of like, and I feel like, when a comedian has a full, like maybe like 45-minute set, it's like, the ending of their joke is a reference to something either they said in the beginning or somewhere down the line. It's kind of like, I was wearing blue shoes, and in the end of their set is, yeah, so that's why I say, fuck you and go get some, you shouldn't have been talking shit had you wear blue shoes or something like that. Like they tie it in together. Like it's like, You know, it's a full circle moment. And I don't think he had that. It was just kind of like he had some jokes about his life, and that was his set. And I'm not mad about it. I really like it. I really like, you know, I will definitely see him again. Hopefully he comes on like one of my days off. If not, I'll have to take the day off and shit. But whatever. Like, he did really good up there. And hold on. The Improv has some of the worst fucking food of all time. I see people get wings, sliders. Okay, you can't fuck that up. You know, some fucking White Castle frozen, whatever they call them. And then there you go. You could tell a lot of the food is either frozen or shit that they just bought at the 7-Eleven down the street or some shit. The last time I got chips and guacamole, first of all, these chips were fucking stale, and the guacamole was like the shit that you buy in them little jars or fucking capsules or whatever that they sell at the fucking supermarket. I was super pissed. I was like, this is horrible. So this time I was like, okay, like they got tacos, they got chicken tacos. Let me get that, right? They bring me the plate of tacos. It looks cool. They got a salsa verde, 2 limes on the side, and they give me 3 tacos, and it's hooked up with, you know, cilantro and onion. I pick a taco up, and it's such a, what is it? How do I describe this shit? These tortillas weren't even cooked, or if they were, like they barely. It just seemed like they cooked the tortillas, put them on the plate, and then just put a bunch of chicken. Because the moisture from the chicken made the tortillas soggy to the point where when I picked the taco up, all the meat fell through. I wanted to flip the whole fucking table over and be like, see, like, why make it a 2 fucking thing, mandatory thing, when you can't even make good food? You think I'm gonna order 2 drinks like a fucking wino? Why wouldn't you think I'm gonna want some good food? You know, I want to see comedy, and I want to, if you're gonna make me buy shit, at least have some good shit. The tortillas, were fucked up. Chips and guacamole are ass. The chicken was okay. It wasn't nothing to fucking write home about. But literally, when I come and want to enjoy comedy, I do not want to have, dog, if you're gonna make me buy 2 things, check this out. I'll sneak in some fucking Crunchwrap Supremes from Taco Bell and just have fucking water or something. You know, order 2 waters. I don't understand why these motherfuckers have a whole extensive menu. You could get drinks like Red Bull and cocktails and beer. You can buy all kinds of desserts, cakes, and like the things they put in like cups, you know, whatever, like whatever the fuck it is, like the chocolate with the whipped cream and all that shit. Then they have all this food that obviously nobody's gonna fucking want because it's probably just from the frozen section at your local supermarket. And I don't know. I think the Improv, they need to handle that shit, man. I don't want to go to the fucking, to see, especially Aries Spears. I'm going to buy boneless wings. And if those boneless wings are not good, fuck the whole menu. We are not going to eat any food from that point on. What's up, Pop? We are not going to buy any food from that day forward, because if I don't see Aries Spears with some good food, the Improv could go fuck itself, specifically the cooks in the back. The chefs can go fuck themselves. They need to revisit this menu because it's bullshit. It's bullshit. I don't want to buy shitty food. I want to buy good food. If I spend $14 on 3 tacos, it better feel like a dick sucking is going on around here. You know what I mean? Let me see. Who the fuck texted me? Nobody. Let's see. I had a whole bunch of shit I wanted to talk about. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I addressed everything. Okay. So I kind of like going to the Improv. I'm going alone, you know. I don't have a hyena and shit. I'm going by myself, and I kind of feel dumb. But at the same time, I get good seats. Like I always have a seat by myself, or a seat with like three other people. Obviously, they're third wheeling it, and I think it's cool. You know, I think it's whack that I'm single until I think about all the money I would be wasting. You know what I mean? Not wasting, but you know what I mean. I just be spending money, and I'm like, I like my money, man, and especially like a lot of the women that I've talked to, and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't spend no money on your ass. You know what I mean? Because it's just like this shit wouldn't have went anywhere. And I don't know if like women see this, but women are investments, and I feel like I'm the only one that understands that. Like, dudes have no problem wasting their money on women if it means they'll be going out with women, you know? Like, I'll just take this bitch out, and they were fully aware it's not going anywhere, and yet they still do it. Me, it's kind of like, you're gonna have to be somebody special to even get a pint of ice cream out of me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really gonna have to be on some like lovey-dovey shit to take you out. So I think just being single, it just makes me appreciate being single, because the moment I find a woman I really dig, it's a trap. It's over. I'm gonna kiss this shit goodbye, bruh. There's no way I'm gonna go back to living like this. Once I have a girl that I really rock with, it's already know I need the nails and then the hair and then the dinner and the dates and the breakfasts and the fucking, you know, like everything Chris was talking about up there. It's definitely gonna be that. Like, oh well, we'll just get it for the house. Like, fucking yo, okay, the house. Like, that was a funny joke he said. Now that I'm remembering his shit, oh, the house. Oh, that shit was funny as fuck, because it's like, fuck the house. How about that? Fuck the house. Why? It's not for the house. It's like for you. You know. That's funny as fuck. What else was I gonna say? Man. Oh, a lot of Trump supporters. I forgot that dude Denny went up there and he was like, anybody voted for Trump? A good amount of the room, like I'll say 30% of the room were clapping. And I look around and I'm like, oh, it makes sense. It makes sense why there's a bunch of fucking hecklers, because you assholes just have lack consciousness in the fucking building, you know? I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, what a fucking oxymoron. There's literally ICE out here deporting people, and y'all are gonna vote for Trump? Very interesting. Ontario surprised me that night. Them motherfuckers must have been from Pasadena, because driving to work and going through Pasadena, there's those bridges that go over the 210, and when that whole voting and shit was going down, there were literal banners across that whole fucking bridge with people waving and shit. Like, y'all gonna cause a car crash, cocksuckers. You know? I don't know. People are fucking crazy with... I just... That was crazy. Like, for people... For Mexicans to vote for Donald Trump, it would be like lesbians voting for Mitt Romney or some shit like that. You know, traditionally Republicans and all that were like against gays and shit, and the Democrats were pushing the equal marriage and all that shit, equality and all that shit. Like, either way, I don't give a fuck about politics, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. I try to stay away from the political shit, but the fact that people are like, yeah, like I voted for him and all that shit, like, for me, the only reason I could see how you're like really cool about voting for Trump is like the tax breaks, según, and fucking like the tightening of the borders, but it's like they're going that, like, that means that they would go after us too, which I totally understand. Like, illegal or not, like, there's Syrians and Chinese sleeper cells up in this bitch, but when you open up that door, you open the door for all that shit to happen to our families too. That's the shit I don't understand, why you would be cool with all the bullshit surrounding the whole Trump presidency. But I'm off that. I don't want to talk about that shit anymore. And then staying sober, like, people be like, "Oh, what are you drinking?" Or like, "Hey, you." Anytime I'll be like, "Oh, you got any zero sugar drinks?" They're always like, "Yeah, we have, all these. Oh, we have a Heineken Zero." Like, dog, who said? Like, I meant soda, bro. I'm not trying to. I don't drink, bro. And if Heineken is wearing like having Heineken Zeros and shit, that's pretty fucking dope, because I definitely would have been slamming those back in the day. But staying sober, I think it's like playing life on like a fairly hard difficulty, because sometimes this shit is like whack, and sometimes I'd be like, yo, a fucking joint would be good right now, you know what I mean? A fucking michelada and a fucking fire, you know? Buddy, do you ever feel like if you could do drugs, you would do them? Yes? That's crazy, buddy. I didn't know you was like a closeted hippie, you know? And I like how like one of your ears is like that. I do like that, you know what I mean? I love you so much. You don't understand it. You don't. That's enough? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so either way, I'm just gonna stay sober, and I don't really care. I just see people and they get all fucked up, and I just don't know. I don't know why. Literally, people couldn't even walk straight. Like, the people that were heckling, I was like right behind them walking out of the venue, and I'm like, y'all can't even drive. I hope y'all live across the street, cause y'all are gonna get in a fucking crazy accident if one of you drives. So it's funny because there's advertisements out here that say it's simple. If you're high, just don't drive. You know, maybe smoking weed is a different thing, because I remember being high and driving like fucking Mr. Deeds or whatever the fuck. But you drink and you're liable to fuck your whole shit up, you know? So I'm not, let's just get this out of the way. I'm not promoting drinking or getting or DWI or anything like that. I'm just saying drive responsibly, and shit happens, whatever. I get it, I understand, but I'm not going to promote any of that shit on the program. Let's see. So that was pretty much like my weekend. My weekend is over. It's literally my Monday. And I was like, fuck it, I'll give y'all a podcast. Because by the time next week, I'm not going to remember any of the jokes and shit. So I was like, I might as well do it now. Are you falling asleep right now? What the hell? Are you good? You're just enjoying life? You're just like, fuck it, I'm with Pops? Oh, my bad. I didn't know. My bad. You could sleep at any time. He's over here. My bad. My bad, OG. Let's see. Let's see. Human remains were found in a Pomona storm drain. What the fuck is Pomona on, man? Human remains? Like, that's some like fucking soy el fuego, you know what I mean? Like narco shit. I don't know, man. Pomona, get your shit together, man. Do we give Pomona dumb fucks of the week? We can't do that. It's gonna be like Draco and Ingleweir. Can't do that. I take that back, Pomona. Y'all are great peoples, great establishments out here, especially Pomona Loud. But human remains being found in storm drains is like the beginning of the second season of The Wire, where they find all those prostitutes dead in that fucking container bin, and it ends up being like uncovering like a whole syndicate of like Greek fucking mafia people, if there were even Greek. I'm not even Greek, and that's how it fucking ends. Let's see, man. What else? Man, I don't even want to talk about half the shit I put out on here. Yeah. I don't even want to. Fuck, what was I going to end it on? Oh, man, I was getting gas last night, and there's this lady, like, we talk, like, you know, she's the cashier or whatever, and whenever I get gas, we talk, And for whatever reason, she probably just clocked in because she was like, you could tell she's in like a shitty mood. And I see her and she looks at me and she's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, it's my Sunday. I'm gonna get gas. Like, I gotta get ready for the week. What does that even mean? What the fuck do you mean? What do I even mean? What does that even mean? I gotta get gas. I fucking told you I work all the fucking way in Chatsworth and I need to get gas. Like, what does this mean? And she's like, oh, well, you're here too early. And she's like trying to press me over, like, what do you want me to do? Show up at 2 in the fucking morning just to get gas? Like, I'm not, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? And I look at the other guy and I'm like, you see that? We were friends this whole time. And now it's a problem that I come here early because I need gas. And she like laughed about it. And I was like, yo, Donna, you tripping right now, bro. Like, what type of shit? This is the shit I'm talking about women, buddy. Is that they just flip on you. We was having a good time. We was like really friends. And I'm like, oh, you're one of those people that's just like, you're like attention seeking, you know? Like, if you want to talk, let's talk. But you fucking, since you know you just clocked in, you're not going to be able to talk. I mean, that was my fault because I want to get gas at 10 p.m. instead of 3 in the fucking morning. Holy fuck. Women do that. They flip. Everything is your fault. Everything is your fault, buddy. Everything is your fault. Thank God you're a dog and you don't really have to deal with this because women will do that. They just, everything is your fault. And then even when you're right, you're wrong. Wrong. You're just wrong at this point because guess what? I was right about something that had nothing to do with this conversation. Nothing to do with this conversation whatsoever. And we're going to end it with the album review. Clips. Lord Willin', the debut album. The Clips brings you into the crack-ridden Virginia lifestyle with the hustler's motive. It's borderline glorification, reality, and flexing all together. The intro gives a nickel-sized sample of the entire album, a good dose of what's to come. The song Young Boy sounds like hand-to-hand profits going down in an alley. Fast-paced flake sales on the streets with no remorse. It's hard to distinguish Malice from Pusha T's voice, but a few listens will be able to give you a good difference. Push is slightly more lyrical while Malice has a more aggressive delivery. They do a great job storytelling or telling their story from their family, hardships, triumphs, money, jewelry, lifestyle. The track Virginia is a raw look into the state that birthed the Clips. Goddamn brings the Hustler's anthem with grand horns. Gangsta Lean is a good break for the ladies. I love that song. Neck breaking drums complement Pharrell's voice as he sings to the synth melody. This isn't two people embellishing the story. This is two brothers' autobiography through the dirty streets of the South. The features offer a different perspective on their respective tracks. An impressive appearance from Fabulous. Roscoe Coltrane executes sharp verses from his offbeat cadence that reminds me of Sugar Free. This has to be the worst Styles and Kiss verses I've ever heard, and that's heartbreaking when I heard those verses from 2/3 of the Locks. They're not bad. I just heard better from them, but the obvious stars are the Neptunes. Incredible production that take the album through the stratosphere. And the Clips are straightforward, unorthodox flows. The remixes are all right. The remixes are all right for grinding. It just feels like who's hot right now that could spit on this. Listening to this album, you might find yourself wanting to dance, sell drugs, or serenade your side piece with thuggish raps. Every listen gets better than the last. Album quote: "See, in my household, it was quite unique. Playing hide and seek, you might find a key." My favorite tracks are the intro, Young Boy, Goddamn, Comedy Central, and Gangsta Lean. It passes the bulletproof meter with Southern flavor. And I give this album an A. Message of the day. Fuck. We didn't even... What should we do with message of the day, man? Fuck. I might not have a message of the day. I don't know. Very anticlimactic as my mom is on the phone being distracting to me. I don't know. Maybe she's hearing a voicemail. I don't know. Message of the day, man. Women are investments. And if you invest in the wrong woman, oh my God, you're going to be wasting all your motherfucking money, and you're going to find yourself giving all your money away in a divorcement settle. So message of the day is for all you men out there, you're betas, you're fucked anyway. But for alphas out there, look for the right woman. And you might not find the right woman because 10 years down the line, it's like, oh man, this bitch was a gold digging asshole. You know. Some of us have been there. Some of us have been there earlier than others, but it's all right. The message of the day is women are investments, so invest wisely. This is the God's Hour.
Mad Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. He wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now.
While the angels fly over my headstone.